Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today we're talking about how to successfully collect and win within Lorcana. This could be applied to any TCG or collectible that you're interested in, but obviously on this channel we talk about Lorcana, and so that's what we're going to focus on. This is something I talked quite a bit in the beginning when I started my channel. The channel has grown exponentially since then, and so I think it kind of makes sense to revisit due to the growth of the channel, but also once again, I've talked about it. I think there's a lot of new people coming into Lorcana, specifically on the collector side. We're starting to see some price increases and things start to dry up a little bit, and so I think it's a good time to talk about it. There's also all sorts of just kind of bull market signs going on the Pokemon side of things. We've got booster boxes that aren't even released yet at like 130, 140 a box, which is absolutely insane. Things are running crazy. It's just an exciting time in the trading card game world. I don't know, it's like holiday season that always brings, good vibes and good sentiments to the market. In addition, I think this like rip and ship and social media stuff with just like you can't escape trading cards right now, it seems. My wife is a big couponer. That's something she likes to do. She saves the money. I spend it on cardboard. Not really, but she the couponer that she follows is like a huge this person has started posting about Lorcana a ton, and she went to like a DLC challenge event, and she's a couponer with like a ton of followers, but she's posting about Lorcana. It's like we can't get away, escape it. And so I just feel like there's a lot of growth going on. You have this TCG shop simulator game that's all the buzz. So it's just trading cards everywhere. We're in an exciting time, in terms of Lorcana. First chapter and second set, or set one and set two, are drying up. We're starting to see some prices elevate. We're starting to see some of the grails get a lot of attention. We've seen, if you pay attention to that market at all, a lot of sales on like the D23 Elsa and some of the other cards. So I just think it's an exciting time, and it's worth kind of taking a step back before we get fully into maybe a bull market where every card is running and you're just kind of constantly chasing. It's important to take a step back and think about what are my goals, what do I want to collect, how am I going to win with Lorcana long term if you plan on being in this space for the long term. And I should definitely reiterate or define that these are for the people that are truly collectors, right? If you're a speculator and you're just kind of like, I'm going to buy a sealed box here and sell it a month later, I'm going to buy this card. When it goes up 5%, I'm selling it. Like, this video isn't for you. You're just speculating. You're trying to make a few bucks. And so this definitely applies more to my collectors. But I just think as we get into these more exciting times where prices are going to be probably running a little bit more than they have the last couple months, you really need to have defined goals, so that way you're not just FOMOing into these cards to start to go up in price, and you want to get them before they get out of reach, maybe, right? Maybe a card's been a couple $100, it's starting to run. Like, I feel like Stitch is a prime example. Should we enter some sort of bull market where prices are starting to run, I feel like this is a card that has a lot of room. This is a card, first trophy card ever awarded in Lorcana. Amazing art, enchanted, iconic IP. Like, it crosses all the boxes. It's very hard to grade, and this is a card that was selling for 1,200 consistently when it first came out. It's kind of settled in between 300 and 400 for a near mint copy. This is a card that whenever the next bull market comes, or as Lorcana continues to grow, I feel like it's in a really good spot to increase in value, right? And so, like me myself, I have as many Stitches as I want, so I'm not going to be chasing this card. But when I bought the copies of Stitch that we have, I spent roughly like $420 to $450. After I bought it, it continued to decrease down to around 300. I was price agnostic at that point because it was a card that I wanted to have in our collection. I wanted to have multiple copies. We got them, and that was that. We kind of moved on. And so now, if it goes down to 300, like, I don't really care. And if it goes up to 500, I don't care, right? I'm agnostic at this point. I want to have this card in our collection. It's kind of there forever, and so we have that card. I think that's the only way to go about this card, because you have to have patience whenever you're speculating in a collectible like this. It's extremely high risk. It's extremely volatile. And if you buy a card that you don't really enjoy and it gets cut in half, the next month, then you're going to sell it. And then the person who bought it, when it cut in half, who holds it for 6 months, is going to, they're going to come out good. And you're going to come back 6 months later when the card's doubled again and buy it again. And so I just want to preach that, set defined goals, whether that's all the enchantments for chapter 1, or going and getting your first grail, or you're starting slow and you just want to have like a sealed box of something, you want to collect some promo cards, right? There's all these different ways that you can go about collecting Lorcana, some cheaper, some more expensive, but at the end of the day, if you buy what you enjoy, you buy what you want to collect, you're going to be agnostic to all these different price swings and market cycles and all this stuff, and that truly is the key to success. Because if you're only coming in to speculate, soon as the price goes down, you're going to sell out. This hype cycle is going to come around where things are running, and then you're going to come back and buy them all. Things are going to go back down, and so you just need you're either here long term, and you're going to be constantly like me. I mean, there's rarely, a week goes by that I'm not buying something Lorcana related. So I'm kind of in the trenches. I'm in the deep end, which I know not all of you are. But at the end of the day, if you set goals, you buy what you want to collect. You're going to be agnostic to the price swings, and that way you're going to be able to hopefully recoup gains, down the road. Should you need to sell your collection? Should you want to sell cards? If you bought them, held them long enough, and just kind of sat on the sidelines, in theory, you should be in a pretty good spot if Lorcana continues on the track that I think it's going to. Now, with that being said, once again, Disney could pull the license from Ravensburger for some unknown reason a year from now, and the game could die, right? I have no clue. I don't expect that's going to happen. We have Continentals coming up. We have Worlds coming up. We have 2026 releases already announced and coming out. They've got clearly a long-term game plan ahead of them and roadmap. I have no reason to think that the game's going anywhere. There's a lot of speculation whenever like Pixelborn was shut down that the game was dead. There's a lot of really, really funny stuff. I'm laughing because when you think back at even some of the comments I got on some of my videos, it was like, Lorcana was literally, it was imminent doom. Like it was dead. That was it. And then obviously new sets released, tournaments continue to happen, new players continue to be exposed to Lorcana, and it's growing obviously very, very rapidly. And so if you follow that mindset, then in theory, buy the cards that you like, you stick around long enough, and ultimately you're going to win. But if let's say Elsa, for example, Elsa has been around, let's say $700 to $1,000 for, really like 4 to 5 months now. Hasn't really moved at all. A lot of people are probably sitting on the sideline. Looks like there was a sale for $1,400, probably a PSA 10 if I had to guess. 1 second, let me see it. Regardless, 900, 935, 777, 945. So roughly $1,000 for a near mint Elsa. Right now, the cheapest on the market is 900. Should something happen where we get into this bull market, there's a lot of people who don't like Elsa at 900. They're gonna buy her for 1,500. And so and then when it gets to 1,500, we might see a retrace to 1,200 or 1,000. And that person that bought it at 1,500 is gonna say, "Dang it, this card is worth this. Why'd I buy this?" And they're selling it at 1,200, selling it at 1,000. Then when it runs up to 2,000, they're like, "Dang it, I knew this card was good. Should have held on to it. Buy it again." And then it like this cycle repeats. And these people who are constantly gonna get butchered. And some of these people never come back to Lorcana. Like there's a lot of people who, whenever this game first came out and it was scalped, those people who FOMO'd in at the very end and bought the peak, they, essentially burnt their money, lit it on fire. Things came back to a normal market condition. They lost a ton of money and they never came back, right? And so these are the people who are constantly going to be getting churned out. They're constantly going to be losing money. If you're in it for the long term, set these goals, set defined strategies of how you're going to obtain these cards, and just go about collecting the cards that you like. Because look, at the end of the day, if there's a card that you like, and there's a card that you want to add to your collection, someone probably wants to add it to their collection too, right? And these cycles kind of continue. The game evolves. The game grows. Once again, you take a step back. You think about what is backing this game. First of all, you have all of the Disney IP, which is the most valuable media IP in the world. Much bigger than Pokemon whenever you combine all of the different IPs that are in Lorcana. It's like significantly bigger than Pokemon, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, whatever, name your favorite card game. The IP behind Disney is significantly larger than all of the rest of those brands. Now you add in addition the fact that they have Ravensburger who's producing this game. So far they've made a ton of the right decisions. They're doing a very good job bringing this game to market. Ravensburger, a lot of people don't know this, they are very, very well known in the toy and game industry. They've been around for over 100 years. So you kind of have these, staple foundational companies that are coming together that produce Lorcana. They have this amazing IP. They have this amazing go-to-market strategy and team with Ravensburger who have delivered at a really, really high level for the first year. And what all signs are pointing to, they're learning, they're evolving. there's things they could do better, right? I personally wish they had better communication. Like, there's a lot of unknowns around Continentals and Worlds that me as just a spectator and a fan, like, I want to have additional details by this point. I mean, those tournaments are coming up in a couple months. Obviously, Worlds a little bit further away, but at the end of the day, like, that's something I think they could do better. But that's not to say that they're not doing a great job. And so I think there's a lot of potential with this game, right? That's why I'm talking about it day in and day out. Obviously, I have a ton of skin in the game, right? I have a ton of cards. I have a ton of whether it's sealed products, grill cards. Like, I am in as deep as it gets, right? And I'm having an amazing time. But if I bought an Elsa right now for 900 and it went to 600, I would not care, because I am coming in with the mindset of, I want to collect this card. I have this goal. I want to achieve this goal. And then once I complete it and I achieve it and I have that card, like, I'm not looking to flip it. I'm not looking to sell it. Now, look, that might not be the most fine. You know, there's something to be said that the more times you can rotate your money and buy these cards and flip them, and that's going to be more successful long term, that's fine. I'm not necessarily participating in the market in that way. I'm much more of a collector, long term holder, things like that. And that's not to say that I'm not selling any cards or I am against selling by any means. I'm not. I am selling cards. My goals have changed. When I first came into Lorcana, I wanted to have a PSA 10 version of every first and second set enchanted. I got essentially right there. I think I might have even completed that. But as I started to realize how easy some of the cards graded, my mindset shifted, and I wanted to have a little bit bigger of a challenge. So while that still is a relevant goal, and I know a lot of you guys have that goal to have a PSA 10, you know, Elsa through whatever the, I guess, Aladdin or Genie, whatever the lowest value first chapter enchanted is, that's a fair goal, and I think that's an awesome goal. My goals have just changed because I feel like if Elsa's going to get a PSA 10 80% of the time, if everything's a PSA 10, then nothing's a PSA 10. And so I shifted my goals accordingly, and I'm just going about this in my specific way. But that's not to say that collecting a PSA 10 Elsa isn't a very credible goal, an awesome card, etc. But you have to think through this process, and it'll change, it'll evolve. That's fine. But as long as you stay within the market for a long enough time, you're not selling a card every time it goes up 5% or dumping a card every time it goes down 10%, 20%. I think you're going to be fine. And you have to think about the people like myself. Whenever I came into the hobby, like, you know, for example, Stitch, I think my like Carefree Surfer Stitch that I bought, it was probably like around $200, give or take. And then that card over the next month and a half went up to $500. Now, in theory, I could have sold it, made the, you know, after taxes and fees, $250, whatever it was. I didn't. The card dropped back down to essentially what I bought it for, maybe even a little bit less, and now it's back up to $300. It was up to $400 a week ago. You know, there's times, if you can time the market well, there's a lot of money to be made and lost. I personally am not in the business of doing that. If I have a goal and I have a card that I want to collect, then I'm thinking about strategically when the best time to buy it is, and then it's going into my collection. So like right now, I think the Stitch in the Ursula from some champs make a ton of sense to buy. I think these cards are at their bottoms. Now, they could go lower, right? $300 is a ton of money for a card. I think that it has the provenance and long-term ability to be worth more than that, right? And I think it's a great position to buy it. Same with the set champs Ursula, but there's cards like the Let It Go, the Cold Foil Cinderella, even the Prize Wall Cinderella, Stout Hearted, Rapunzel Gifted with Healing foil, as well as Prize Wall. Those cards, there's going to be more to come to market, at least DLC Seattle. We may have more after that, but at least we have those cards coming to market. So I'm not in a rush to go out and get those cards. And I think it's probably a fine time to start looking at them and picking them up. I'm personally just not. I have other cards that I want to get before then that are out of circulation and are no longer. I don't have to worry about any increased count coming to market, and that's my current strategy and game plan. So I think, you know, to tie this all together and put a bow on it, identify what you want to collect, you know, and even if you need to sit on the sideline for a couple months and just kind of, you know, watch my videos, interact in the market, watch, you know, whatever you want to do, right? Just kind of learn, take in as much information as you can, come up with truly what you like, what you want to collect, so that way you become agnostic to these price swings and things like that. Like that is truly how you win, and I think how you can be successful long term. And this is all under the guise that Lorcana is going to continue to grow and be successful. I don't have a time machine. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see the future. I just know that the fundamentals and the signs that I've seen thus far have given me the confidence to interact with this market as if it's going to be around for a long term. But at the end of the day, I could be left holding the bag, and you guys will all be able to take a victory lap. For those of you guys that watch my videos and don't like the way that I talk about the card game, I know there's a ton of people out there who truly think these are kids' game pieces and should have no value. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're just wrong. Like, that's not how these markets have evolved over time. That's not how people interact with them. But there's like one or two people out there that I think hate watch my videos, and I get like one thumbs down every video. Some videos get two. I think it's probably the same one or two people who just hate the fact that these cards have value, and there are people like me interacting with the cards in this way. But at the end of the day, this is just how these markets, these are legitimate markets now. They're still high risk, highly volatile, but at the end of the day, you look at something like Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon established this industry and is not going anywhere. These are new markets, new collectibles, new in the grand scheme of things, right? 30-ish years that it's been around, but they're not going anywhere. These are sustainable, functioning ecosystems that are so much fun to collect and have and just spend your time in. And so once again, someone like myself, I found Lorcana with my family and started this collection with my family. Like it's like the hobby that I didn't know I needed, essentially. Obviously collected cards as a kid, growing up, had Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. Played a lot of the games, grew out of it, and now I've came back, and it's been a blessing. I've just had so much fun. So with that being said, buy what you want to collect. Ignore the price swings as we get into these maybe bull markets where cards are going to start to run. They're going to go up 30%, 40% in a short amount of time. Probably not the time to buy that card, right? Unless it's a truly a card that you've been eyeballing. And in that case, I would say, why didn't you buy it before it went up 30 to 40%, right? Take a step back, think about the cards that you want to collect, set defined goals, and that way you become agnostic as these price swings happen and you do not FOMO in. So with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments on how you're collecting, any goals that you have, how are you navigating these markets? Because I personally think that we're going to be coming to a point where these cards are going to start to run a little bit more than they have in the past, and then you're going to start to see people FOMO in, they're going to get burned, and then they're going to have a sour taste because they paid, if Mufasa doubles, they paid $600 for Mufasa, when in reality there's still a lot of Shimmering Skies to be open. There's going to be a lot more supply. That card might go back down to 350, 400 if it doubled, and then those people will be like, what? Like, I just wasted $200. What am I doing? So this is an easy way to avoid that. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I will talk to you guys later.